Greetings and salutations, and as you've probably noticed, we're back with the Nuzlocke. Now, in the last one, I managed to lose one of my party members, and I released him. I still can't use the magic carp yet. I got Flexomatic. Now, what I made a mistake in saying was this is the Insano Flex, not Flexomatic, from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And if you've seen the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie, I actually had to go back and look at it afterward, and then, of course, course corrected, and I was like, well, there you go. I had to make that sort of course correction. And of course, somebody just messaged me on here. All right. So, they messaged me on Battle.net. But anyhow, I've already gotten my 207, which was the Machop. And I've already beaten Rourke. But now I have the Rock Smash. You can use Rock Smash. Now, I kind of want to talk about, not really the Nintendo Direct, but the Nintendo Switch 2. I personally am not going to get the Switch 2. I'm not going to. Not at all. There was nothing in the Direct that really stuck out to me as, like a must-have title. Honestly. The Donkey Kong did not look like Donkey Kong. A lot of it just did not appeal to me. And the only thing I've really seen that I'm interested in, coming up is Pokemon Champions. And Pokemon Champions can run on a mobile phone because it's getting... It's getting both a mobile iteration as well as a Switch iteration. And if it can run on a mobile phone, it can run on a potato. So, there's no point in me getting a Switch 2 just yet. If it ever. Now, I've seen a lot of people complaining that it's somehow linked to the tariffs, right? They're saying, well, it's the tariffs that are making the cost of the Switch 2. IGN wrote an article about this. Now, like I said, normally I don't get into politics, especially on here. This is all about gaming and, waxing philosophically and having fun doing so. Having challenges like this here and my one talent challenge. But this time I had to interject on this because I think that there's a lot of people where they are just categorically wrong. The price of the Switch 2 has absolutely nothing to do with tariffs, or at least minimal to do with tariffs. There's a reason being, and that is, when you take a look at the Switch 2's price here, it's $450. When you take a look at the Switch 2's price in Japan, it's 49,900 yen. Now, up until recently, it was 10 yen to the dollar. Okay? 10 yen to the dollar, rough math, would make it $490. It's actually more expensive in Japan back then. But since then, the yen is weakened, and now it's about $13 to the yen. 13 to 15, in that ballpark. The yen has gotten actually considerably weaker. And in doing so, you now have... This is probably just going to teleport for me anyway, but I'm going to switch out just in case. With the yen weakening, it now says that 49,000 yen is 333 US dollars. Of course, people took this advantage to say, see, it's cheaper in Japan than it is here, without understanding that the exchange rate plays a big part. And with the exchange rate playing a big part, you have a weak yen and a stronger dollar, creating this disparity. Now, why does it cost so much for a Switch 2 when it's nothing more than a Switch with a glorified hardware upgrade? I can answer this. If you flip your Switch over, both the one that you own now and the Switch 2 that comes out in 2 months, if you flip it over on the back, it'll say, Made in China. Now, this is not where I'm going to say, China, and start complaining about them. What I am going to say is China is currently using their rare earth minerals. They're currently getting in rare earth minerals to then make these devices. Phones, Switches, they've been doing it for years. Japan has rare earth minerals, but has no way to extract them as of yet. And the Switches aren't being assembled in Japan. So they're being assembled in China, and they're being shipped over. This gives China the ability to set the price with whatever they want. And if they set the price higher, saying, well, you know what? You can have these Switches, but we kind of need, like, you know, $250 per Switch. So then the MSRP has to make their meat on the potato, and so they jack the price even more. Doesn't have anything to do with the tariffs at all. And if it does, it's minimal. It's maybe $10, $15, if that. Your biggest hurdle that you have to overcome is the fact that you have to deal with a country that is exporting it and basically price gouging. This is why the Switch is almost an equal cost as if you were living in Japan. So if you were a Japanese citizen living in Japan, the Switch would cost as much for you as you would be being a US citizen here buying one. And that's why it costs what it costs. Plain and simple. Do I wish it was cheaper? Yeah, I do. I wish it was cheaper. But is it worth it? I would say no. Well, if you want to play the latest and greatest Mario Kart, if you want to play, the new Donkey Kong or the new Metroid, if that's your bag, guess what? It'll be a great device for you. Beautiful device. However, if it's not, then it's not for you. And so what we have now is we have this kind of like a split where you have people that are like, oh, the Switch is too pricey, but they'll turn around and buy a $1,000 iPhone, which is barely an upgrade to their previous iPhone, but they'll do it anyway. They will be like, oh yes, I have to purchase it. Yeah, we'll do that, because he's awfully slow. And so, you have this kind of like duality mindset of they want to get the Switch 2, or they'll complain about the price of the Switch 2, but then they'll go and they'll buy a brand new iPhone, which has literally no benefit whatsoever over their old phone. But they'll still do it. Yeah. Again, depends on what you want to do with it. If you're not going to do much of anything with the Switch 2, with its current, release titles that are listed, then there's no real reason to get it. Honestly. And now you have other things like they're not adding Hall sensors to the sticks, to the control sticks, which will inevitably cause stick drift. Well, that right there just says we're basically making a cheaper effort on behalf of themselves, really. It's going to be like a razor and blades kind of thing. So you're going to be like, oh yeah, well, we got the Switch, but now you need new Joy-Cons for it because the stick drift kicks in. Like with these Pro controllers, I've not had a single bit of stick drift with these Pro controllers. And I've had them as long as I've had the Switch. And I had to purchase a second set of handheld Switch Joy-Cons. So there is that issue with it. And I think what's going to happen... Do I think that this is going to cause Nintendo to lose money? No, not really. Almost every other console they do has problems. Like sales problems. For example, look at the Wii. The Wii sold like hotcakes. Look at the Wii U. The Wii U not so much. Then look at the Switch. Oh, the Switch sold very well. Now let's take a look at the Switch 2. Is it gonna sell? Hard telling. I mean, especially with the price tag. With the price tag the way it is, and with the listed titles currently, I don't see people burning down the barn, so to speak, to go get one. I really don't. I think it's going to fall into the same kind of gray area as, say, the Virtual Boy. Maybe not to that degree, but I really think that you're going to have problems with people not wanting it because of its price tag and whatnot. I mean, yeah, you have the Nintendo first-party support, which their first-party support's literally what carries them, which is not a joke. Like, Nintendo first-party support, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Zelda, their first-party titles legitimately carry that company. But I think they're going to take an L on this one, truthfully. I don't want them to take an L on it. I hope they do well. I always hope they do well. But it's not looking very promising. And that's just from my perspective. I could be... take it with a grain of salt. I could be all wet, as they say. This is just not for me. Not for me at all. Now, if in the near future, the price comes down a bit, maybe. I remember when the original Switch, after the first run, the original Switch came down in price by about $50. It was at like $300. It was $299 something. And then after the first run, it kind of dropped to $249. So there is the ability. Yeah, probably something on the Resonance like that, because he's got 22 special attack. We'll get rid of Pound. And if they do that, where they drop it by, say, $50 later on, because they realize it's not... that you're not having as much of a sales impact, it'd be interesting to see. It really would. I personally hope that something like that happens. Just a small price drop, $50, make it $400, $399. You might have a better reception to it, but to each their own. Though I am looking forward to Pokemon Champions, so there is that. Hey, I play Pokemon a lot. I got a lot of time invested in this. I got a lot of time invested in Scarlet and Violet. And I, transferred all over to Pokemon Home. There you go. But anyway, back to this Nuzlocke. I don't have anything in this route. Do I? I might actually have something in this route. But I went in the cave. If I don't have anything on this route, then I don't want to KO a wild Pokemon, because then I'm not going to be able to get it. So... trying to get some levels on Flexomatic here. Nope. Made a mistake. I'm gonna get poisoned, aren't I? Called it. Why can't I call it? All because I made a bonehead maneuver. Oh well. Is what it is. But yeah, I play a lot of... I mean, I do like to do competitive singles and competitive doubles, and I haven't had the ability to do that lately. I'm hoping that with the whole Pokemon Champions coming out, that there'll be a wider variety of opponents. And the reason I say that is not everybody stays with a concurrent generation. And in doing so, obviously, it's like, okay, you don't have the concurrent generation, so... Makes sense. Hit him with the struggle bug. Why are they beating up on Fleximatic? He didn't do anything. Stops them from using their special attack. Pachirisu's special attack's slightly higher than their attack. Dumped him. Yeah. He's not a bad pickup. I mean, I'll give you that. Like, I'm actually quite surprised at Fleximatic. Like, Matchup seems like it's got quite a bit of power. I mean, yeah, he's dreadfully slow, but you use Revenge. If he can shoulder the hits, he can just start dumping things. So. Oh, sweet. I have low kick. Or is this target's speed? You know what? We're gonna go with low sweep instead of low kick. I know that low kick is better for, like, Snorlax and Graveler and stuff like that. But let's be real here. If there's a Graveler, I'm not sticking around, because it'll self-destruct. And I'll end up losing... I'll end up losing my match out, you know. Fleximatic will die. Wait, is this... What route is this? Does it say? It's 204. Do I have a route 204 Pokemon? I think I do. He was a 207. 202, 201. Impish Nature. I'll have to check my Magikarp. So I don't really want to encounter a wild Pokemon here. I think my Magikarp was my 204. I'm gonna double check. I know that Ohms was... Was he? Was Ohms close to being a 204? Hard telling. If I haven't caught a 204, I will. That's kind of why I don't like releasing them, because I don't like not knowing that I've already used that route, so... What route are you? That's my 204, right there, and I messed it up, so... No Pokemon for me on 204. Whoopsie doodle. Don't worry, if I find the name... Wait, where was the name writer again? Let me double check this. Let me look. Name writer or Brilliant Diamond. If I could type. Eternia City. I have not been to the Eternia City, which means it's... I think that Magikarp's going to be slightly chalked for a while. Actually, let me check my map. Eternia City. So that's coming. Yep. Yes. I made the mistake of not picking berries before. Citrus? Oh, cherries. Okay. So I am going to put the berries on people to try to get some health. Do I have to fight these guys yet? Nope. I don't have to beat those guys up yet. Cherry berry is for burn. Or is it paralysis? Those both have to go. Paralysis. Mortimer can learn Bullet Seed. Wait a minute. That might be a viable play. We'll have to... Well, he's currently got, like, Razor Leaf, so I don't think that's too viable of a play. What do you have? I can buy some escape ropes. I'm not going to, but I could. Give that to Ethan, and then give it to Resonance, because I'm going to be going into the Flower Gym, and both of them have a strong type advantage, so... Oop, yep, Pesto to wake him up from sleep. Oh, peaches. Peach berries. That's for poison. That one I might put on something else. Go save your dad, right? This is the Valley Windworks. 205. Now, if I come out here and I do my... If I was out here on Friday, I could get Drifloon. But I'm not here. Ooh. I like it. Solid water type. And I killed it. Because I crit. Well, there went my Route 205. And technically, I'm in the Valley Windworks. This is Route 205. Would that count? This Valley Windworks is Valley Windworks. Not Route 205. I don't know if that counts or not. You know what? Leave a comment to let me know if that counted as my Route 205. If that counted as my Route 205, I'll skip it. So I'm not going to catch anything on Route 205 until I see that comment. We'll see. Oh yeah, hitting it with a revenge. Thing's toast. Oh, I didn't take any damage. I didn't take any damage, so... Ugh. So much for that. It's still gonna hurt. Yeah, now it's gonna be 120 power revenge. I tell you, Perugly is nasty. You've never used a Perugly in competitive play? The speed on that thing is just crazy. Learns Fake Out, learns U-turn. It has a great move pool. So the one in the Flower Patch has the thing. Alright. They've left. Shocker. Speaking of, if I slather something with honey and I try to get a Pokemon, does that count as a static encounter, and how many of those can I have? Comment on that one too. Let's see. Because I don't normally do those static encounter things. You'll go to the low sweep. half of its life is gone. Jeez, Wurmple, hit me like a truck, man. Oh. Okay, Machop, you can stop critting now. Because if you keep critting like that, we're gonna be in trouble. Silcoon, huh? Gonna spam Harden. Good. I never understood that. Why they only give it Harden. Like, I get it. It's a Chrysalis stage, but why? Why not just give it like a defensive ability? You know what I mean? Like, take a look at, for example, Spiky Shield for Chestnut. Why not just give it that? That way you can have some form of offensive content for it. This is just... It's like one of the easiest fights. You're just pounding this thing into the dirt. And it feels bad, but... You sit there and you're like, maybe I shouldn't hit it. You know, maybe we should just kind of lay off, because it's all it can do is harden. And then, imagine that though, right? They harden for 40 turns, and then they both go into struggle. Wouldn't really work, but did you imagine a world where it could? Be like the worst. I'll give you a hint here in a second. It would be like one of the worst things ever. Let me tell you. There is a Pokemon that can absolutely drain power points. I mean, we're talking a ton of them. And it's not Grudge, and it's not Spite. Despite what you might think. Huh. No, it's not Grudge or Spite either. What it is actually Medicham. It sounds weird. But, let me explain it. Medicham, with pure power, right? Is it pure power? It might be huge power. I can't remember which. I think it's pure power. Or Iron Fist. It doesn't really matter which one you run. Matter of fact, I'll look that up just to make sure. Because if I don't look it up to make sure, I'm going to look like a fool. So we're going to go there. We're going to look up Medicham. We're going to go down here to Medicham. It is pure power. You could technically run Telepathy if you wanted, but pure power is usually the preferred one. However, the Medicham can learn 3 specific moves, and you can have it hold leftovers. And this is, I think it's the only one that can learn these 3 maneuvers. I could be wrong, but they work well, especially in singles. Sometimes in doubles. Sometimes. I'll explain. So it learns Protect, Detect, and Endure. Now, if you were to have it do Endure first turn, it cannot die unless it gets poisoned or burned. Because you hit Endure and it leaves it with 1 HP. Guaranteed. Okay? And that's even if both Pokemon hit it, it leaves it with 1 HP. At which point, after the turn is over, the leftovers kick in. And it gains 1/16 of its HP, and it goes up. Right? Now, this is where it gets... Here's the change, right? You can then use Protect or Detect either way, which prevents you from being attacked from both of them. Alright? So you no longer get attacked. Cool. Then you can use Endure again, because you have another 1/16 of the health from leftovers a second time, which then leaves you with 1 HP. And then you can use either Detect or Protect, whatever you didn't use the first time. And then back to Endure, and then just rinse, repeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Swapping in and out of the two. This is where it gets completely nasty, because the people aren't prepared for that strategy, right? And there's no way that one of those will fail, because Protect needs a turn in between, where Detect also needs a turn in between, and if you use Protect into Detect, it won't allow you to do double protection in a row. This is where Endure kicks in, and is that buffer zone between the two. And this is also where Endure can't be used twice in a row, even if you have leftovers, because it will fail. This is why you create the buffer zone of Protect, Endure, Detect, Endure, Protect, Endure, or Detect, Endure, Protect, Endure, and so on and so forth. And you do that just to rub salt in the wound, because you can. I know that sounds terrible, but yeah, that's what you do, because you can. It makes some people salty, because they'll come out and they'll just be like, you know, Will-O-Wisp or something like that, because they want you dead and gone. It happens, and you will have to fight. You will fight people like that, but it's a great PowerPoint soak. That's not using Grudge, and that's not using Spite. It's a real good PowerPoint sync. Because Detect has 10, or maybe they lowered it to 5 in Scarlet and Violet. Used to have 10, Protect had 10, and that was before you did PowerPoint up. So before you did PP up, you had 10 and 10 of each, and Endure had 20, I believe. So you're looking at like 40 PowerPoints right there, and then you add the fact that you could do PP up on all of them. Yeesh. Our commander will smoosh you. You know what? I don't want to swap that. I want the hell item. I want to give it to him. That way he can get some HP back. And we're going to try this. We're going to see what happens. Is this Commander Mars? There's a Commander Mercury. I think it's Mars. Mars. Boy, this team's out of this world. They're intergalactic. Planetary. This is where you cue the Beastie Boys. And trust me, if you don't know who the Beastie Boys are, that just tells you how old I am versus how old everyone else is. Good thing they didn't land that supersonic. Confusion is one of the worst status effects. Hate U-turn. I love it, but I hate it. That's bad. That's very bad. That's why it's bad right there. Maybe I can get this... Nope. He just took the Oran Berry. And Ethan's dead. Here we are again. Here I am losing players before I can get to a gym. Use the Orange Berry. Use that up real quick. Revenge should drop him, though, so... Nope. I want to guarantee the KO. Do you know what I mean about the Perugly? Or Perugly, or whatever it's called? Insanely nasty Pokemon. I have no one that can actually deal with the Zubat. I bet he has Wing Attack, and I don't really want to lose another one. I have nothing. If he's running Wing Attack, I'm in trouble. Because I think it's just Wing Attack Tortimer, Wing Attack Resonance, and they're both dead. I don't want to really depend on Tackle, but I will. It's not going well. Well, Ethan, at least you didn't have your Oran Berry stolen, and now I can put that on somebody else. But now Ethan is dead, so... yeah. RIP. Oh. We're going to take the item off of him. And this happens every time. I end up losing like 1 or 2 Pokemon in every big event. And I lost it to a crit, so... Wait, hold on. Goodbye, Ethan. Down to 3. Still can't use the Magikarp until I get to Eterna City. Now, again, let me know in the comment if I wasted my Route 205 by KOing the thing at Valley Windworks. Thank you so very much, Fleximatic. At any rate, I had a great time. I hope you did as well. I mean, despite losing Ethan, I had a great time. One thing I can say, and I'm going to say this before I do my sign-off, is when somebody brings out an article about anything, because I started this talking about the Nintendo Switch too, but when anybody brings out an article regarding anything, don't just take it at face value. Read it, read the entire article, and then start looking for other articles and read those. And start doing research. Honestly, because it stops people from making generalizations and assumptions, which will lead to making disastrous statements, which will come back to haunt them. That, and you probably just shouldn't trust IGN anyway. They said Concord was good. I mean, come on. We all know it wasn't. Concord was like the next E.T. And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google E.T. Atari cartridge dump, Southwest, New Mexico desert, Nevada desert. You'll know you'll see what I'm talking about. Back when there was a video game crash caused by E.T., you'll see that they dumped a whole bunch of Atari cartridges in the desert to try to literally bury the turd that was E.T. Concord was the second E.T. Because there is going to be, I firmly believe that there's going to be a gamer crash soon, of another video game crash where AAA devs are going to be shoved aside in lieu of good indie devs. That's what I firmly believe. But I hope everybody has a fantastic time. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening as well. And a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, have a good one. Come on, Ethan. Suck it up.